questions, front row left, Bill Rabinowitz, Columbus Dispatch.
Hi, Ryan. I'm assuming that
I can hear you.
that you were interested in the defense, and obviously not a lot of scheming, all that stuff. What were your impressions of what you saw from the defense?
Yeah, today was very, very basic, as you can see, on both sides of the ball. But what I liked was just the physicality, and guys running around and tackling, and that was something that we wanted to get done in this game. But I thought you saw that, and certainly the depth of the D line is definitely going to be a strength of ours. But it was good to see those guys run around and tackle. We'll take a look at the film and see. But it was more about fundamentals and tackling and playing with effort today.
And I didn't see Julian Fleming playing. What's going on with that?
Yeah, we were just being smart with him. He was kind of day to day. We just decided it wasn't worth putting him in the game today.
All right, we're going to go over here to the right. Nathan Baird, Cleveland.com.
We've been hearing from your coaches all spring about guys like Jordan Hancock, High Stokes, and kind of what you're seeing behind the scenes from these young DBs. How did you see them show up today?
Yeah, all those guys have had a really good spring. I've been very impressed with the corners, the safeties, and they showing up and get their hands on balls and being aggressive. And I think you saw some of that today, and you saw the potential there. We certainly have a long way to go as we get into May and June and July and then in August. But I think they've really grabbed on to what Coach Walton and Coach Eliano have been doing with them. They're playing with confidence, they're aggressive, and you can see their talent level.
Go over here to the far left, Bill Landis, The Athletic.
Right, we saw Evan Pryor got loose for that touchdown run. Seems like he has a lot of burst to him. Just what do you think he brings to this offense?
He's had a very good spring. He has a lot of wiggle, like you said. He can change direction in short areas. He's good out of the backfield. He can catch the ball. And so he gives a little wiggle in there, which is nice. It's a little bit of a change of pace with the offense. And if he continues to grow and he can hang on to the ball, then he's going to have an impact on this offense this year.
Over here to the right, Austin Ward, Letterman Row.
Right, now that spring is over, where have you seen the largest growth from CJ in 15 practices?
I think CJ's been very consistent. He's very competitive. And I think one of the things that he's done a really good job of, at least recently, is take what the defense gives you. And Jim does a really good job of changing up looks. And there's just times where he's going to drop 8 and say, you have to check the ball down. And as a quarterback, especially somebody who's competitive as CJ, he has to force himself to say, okay, I'm going to take what the defense gives me, take the check down, make 5 or 6 yards, and move on. And I think he's learned to do that. And I think that's been great. His leadership's been excellent. I think he's had a very, very good spring. And he even wanted to get back in there in the last drive because he wanted to, get out there and play. And that's just the way he is. He's one of the more competitive guys I've been around.
You seem to want to lead the way in honoring Dwayne today as well.
I think those are all personal decisions, and I know that he wears the same jersey number, and so it's something that CJ's thought long and hard about. But I know Dwayne meant a lot to CJ. Not that they had a huge relationship, but just that he kind of paved the way for him, and I'll let him kind of talk about that. But I know that it was emotional for CJ.
Over to the far left, Stephen Means, Cleveland.com.
Right, you guys got Jackson out there pretty quickly, and you got to see Mecca and Marvin, Jaden really a lot more. What did you think about their spring, and what did you think about the way they performed today?
Yeah, we wanted to kind of get he and Trey and a few guys out of the game early on, but I think Emeka's had a very good spring. Julian's had a very good spring. I think Marvin's been very strong, and then Xavier Johnson's been really good for us as well. The rest of the depth is continuing to build and grow. Jaden Ballard. So the more those guys can build depth for us, you want to find one, you want to find 2, and eventually you want to get to about 6 guys you feel good about putting into the game, which is where we've been in the last couple of years. I think we're still kind of working on getting this to 6, but these guys are working hard. I think for the top 4 or 5 guys, we feel pretty solid about. And these, the next couple of months, they have to continue to grind because it's going to be important. We have a couple of guys coming in the summer, some signees, but depth is very important. We're looking at that all over the field in terms of different positions. And there's some positions that I think are more deep than others, but that's the challenge you run into with the way college football is right now.
Over here to the right, Tim May, Letterman Row.
Yeah, Ryan, looking at Jack Sawyer and JT out there playing today, but especially Sawyer just seemed to bring it on every play. And just what's the big difference you see in him from obviously this time a year ago he was what he was, a freshman. But, and then on top of that, are you leaving here with 3 running backs that you feel like you can win with? I mean, does it feel like that to you?
I
with
do.
Lyon and-
No, I do. I think,
Okay.
yeah, I think we do have 3 really good running backs, and we have a 4th coming in this summer, and down 8, so, that's good. They've had a good spring. Feel solid about that. Yeah, I think JT and Jack, both you asked about, have had very good off seasons. They've gotten stronger, they've gotten faster, technique's been better, and you saw that today. And so if they continue to build this summer, then, you know, they're gonna be a force, you know, in the fall. And, you know, I think that they've really taken a Coach Johnson and his system too. And, you know, Jim has a great way of kind of changing up the looks too to kind of keep the offense guessing. And then the minute you think they're moving, they come right at you with a bull rush. So that combination of really good technique with Coach Johnson, with the style and scheme that Coach Knowles has put together, really fits those guys and a lot of guys on defense. I mean, there's a bunch of guys today who showed up, but those guys have been strong.
Yeah, you seem excited about that though, about this defense. I mean, leaving. Did you feel that way a year ago? I mean, I'm not trying to be facetious, but is there an excitement there that's legit?
You know, there's 2 things here. One, there's a bunch of guys that played a lot of football. I mean, you just take 2 guys you just explained, and you also have, you know, Tyler Friday coming back. You have Zach Harrison. You have Javante's played. Inside, you have Teron and Jaron have both played. Tyleek and Mike hasn't played as much, but certainly Ty Hamilton has. He's had a very good camp. But these guys have played a lot of football. You know, Tommy Eichenberg's now played a lot of football. Josh Proctor, you know, they played a bunch, and so that's exciting, which we didn't have last year. And the second thing I think is just that combined with the new scheme and some of the stuff that we're doing on defense, it comes at you fast, and it's exciting to watch. It's exciting to see these guys have energy, be decisive, be physical. So I think when you combine the 2 of those things, it's exciting over there right now. And going against them every day, offense and defense, it's been a good back and forth, and it's been fun.
Got time for 2 more questions for Coach. Over to the left, Rob Aller, Columbus Dispatch.
Ryan, you're talking about toughness, you're talking about physicality. First time you've had line tackling. How much of that, you had a couple games last year, early and late, where toughness was an issue. How much of today was setting an expectation? I don't want to suggest it was symbolic, but setting sort of that foundation for that.
You know, I think last year we played some games really tough. I mean, we were really physical in some games. And then there were other times where you watch the film and you wish it was better. And so one of the things we talk about is competitive stamina. I mean, bringing it every single week, because the thing that's unique about Ohio State is you're not allowed to lose a game here. You know, and I talked to the players about this in the offseason. The Rams, they went on a losing streak this year. They lost a bunch of games, but they go play in the Super Bowl and win it all. You can't do that at Ohio State. You have to be tough week in and week out. And so, you know, whether it was symbolic, I don't know. I just felt like it was the right thing to do at this time, was to tackle and play. But we're going to have to be physical. If we're tough and we have good leadership next year, then we have a chance to reach our goals. So today was good. We'll probably do a little bit more in August because you know, we opened the game right out of the bats with obviously a huge game here, and we know that's right around the corner.
Last question, Joey Kaufman, Columbus Dispatch.
Ryan, tight end's obviously been a position that's been a little bit of, if you guys coming in, coming out. Joe Royer had that catch in the early on. What have you thought of his spring? And TJ mentioned him as somebody who we thought was breaking out a little bit.
I've been impressed with the tight ends. I think you know, losing Ruck certainly was significant, but to see Cade Stover come up and have the spring that he's had has been really good. Joe and G both have been excellent, and we're excited to get Mitch back. You know, so when you look at those guys right there, you know, that gives us some versatility in those packages, which is really exciting. The run game and the pass game, and then I think Bennett Christian's been really you know, showing up a little bit as a young tight end, and it's a developmental position. So when you look at, you know, when Cade made that you know, investment about a year ago, you're starting to see him get the fruits of all that investment. It's the same thing with G. It's the same thing with Joe. I mean, it's just, that's what a tight end is. It's very difficult to come in and play as a young player. And so those guys are developing and putting in the work, and we'll hope that's a position of strength for us moving into August.
Great. Coach, thank you very much.
Thanks, guys.